So peace, peace. Isn't that what we all want? How do we go about promoting peace? Well, we hear about empathy, forgiveness, kindness, but sometimes we still feel helpless and unsure how to advance the cause of peace. So this is a reminder of some simple acts we can perform to promote peace. First, everything we do to honor and protect God's magnificent planet and all God's creations promotes peace. Every act we perform to promote peace is a prayer. So I've broken it down into 3 parts. Care for others, care for the planet, and care for ourselves. First, make a commitment to nonviolence. This means many things. Always be careful how you speak. Don't use racist words or words that may be misogynistic, homophobic, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic, xenophobic, or any other way that words may be unkind. But also be careful, not just with words, but with your tone and your body language. Sometimes even just your attitude comes through. Listen to what others have to say with an open mind so you might understand them. That means listen intently, as if when they're finished, you will be tested on what they said and how you understood it. So often we are in our own heads, thinking our own thoughts while the other person is telling us something that's very important. So let's practice learning how to turn off our own thoughts and listen. Accept differences of opinion. Remember, we all have different backgrounds that and if you disagree, instead of disagreeing, say something like, "That's interesting. I'll have to give that a little more thought." And then give it a little more thought. Think of people who hurt your feelings as your personal teachers of how to remain peaceful, patient, and compassionate. That's not always easy to do. In fact, it's hard to do. Practice. When someone says something to you that makes you feel angry or slighted, think about it carefully before you respond. Was it really about you, or was it about the other person? If it was about the other person, have compassion. They may be struggling. We're all struggling about something. See the good in others and tell them. Be sure to tell them what you see. Most of us are trying very hard and rarely get noticed or complimented. Look people in the eye and smile. Say a kind hello. You'll never know how much you might have lifted someone's spirits that day with just a smile or a hello. When you see someone in trouble, lost, confused, upset, or maybe they've fallen, don't act like you haven't seen them and hurry about your busy day. Take a few minutes, stop, see if you can help them. speak out against prejudice and discrimination when you see or hear it. Any type of unkindness to any group or individual. It's not easy to speak out, but we can do it in a gentle, non-confrontational way. You can say, I'm surprised to hear that from you. Have you thought about how it might hurt someone? I'm really sad when I realize all the times in the past when I missed the opportunity to speak up because I was afraid to offend someone. Celebrate diversity and avoid stereotyping. Learn about other cultures, nationalities, and religions. Get to know people personally from different backgrounds. Find a community organization that works toward peaceful communities and volunteer. Join groups to learn about other cultures and religions. Talk and listen to others. Emphasis on listen. Donate as generously as you can to those groups and to your house of worship. Hint, hint, Darshan Center for Spiritual Evolution, where every Sunday we learn about other religions and nationalities. Always vote. Encourage voting. And if you can, take the class to register people to vote. It's only a couple of hours. And once you have that class, you get a certification, and you can volunteer to register people to vote on your own terms. One of my favorites, support your local community by shopping at small local businesses. I know we all love all the online, huge, gazillionaire places, but think about some of our small town local businesses who are, even when they're not struggling, but especially now as they struggle to keep alive. So, most of them will do curbside service. Sometimes their prices might be $1 or $2 higher or a little bit higher, but if you can manage it, it'll keep them alive, keep them as our neighbors. And instead of contributing to, well, I won't name them, but they don't really necessarily need your money and you know who they are, even though it's easy for me too, but I have learned to find the businesses, either local or small, or even find their own website and get it from them rather than so that I can direct my money where I want to. Especially try to promote businesses that promote women and minorities. Pay attention to where your money goes. Does the business pay a fair wage and treat its employees well? Years ago, I stopped going to certain stores and certain restaurants and certain places because I didn't really like the way they treated their employees. And I follow that. To this day, I actually search out those places so that I don't call it boycotting. I just call it going to the favored places. And my favorite places are places that treat their employees with respect. We're hearing a lot about a lot of them, much, much more so now in these struggling days. So many of these small businesses and local businesses have stepped up to the plate and are doing things to help their employees survive. Go to them. Make sure it doesn't contribute to any anti-gay, racist, misogynist, or anti-peaceful ideas or behavior. Use a credit union instead of a big, powerful bank. Credit unions are nonprofit. They are for the customer, and generally their fees are lower too. If you have savings, put it into socially responsible investments. There are many funds that do not invest in firearms, fossil fuels, alcohol, or tobacco. Some are even pro-women, minorities, and LGBTQ. Commit to recycling. Use less plastic, please. Some plastic can take up to 1,000 years to decompose. Plastic is toxic to the environment, animals, and to our bodies. Buy a reusable glass or stainless steel water bottle and refill it yourself. All those plastic bottles will be around forever in landfills. They take 450 years to decompose. Pick up and dispose of litter wherever you see it. I keep a plastic bag in my back seat. Now, I don't stop all the time to pick up litter, but if it's comfortable, I will stash it in my little plastic bag in my back seat. Take care of animals. Eat more organic plants and plant-based foods. And if you do eat meat products, buy pasture-raised and humanely treated meats, eggs, and sustainable wild-caught fish. Take care of you. Move your body. Dance, swim, walk, ride a bike, do yoga or Tai Chi, meditate, read, learn. And especially now, read and learn, listen to podcasts about racism and anti-Semitism and misogyny and anti-gay stuff going on. There's a whole lot of it. Take the time and listen. So the final note, listen, pause, breathe, think before you speak. When we can, hug everyone. And when we can, take off your mask, smile, say hello to everyone. And most important of all, thank God every day and every hour for giving us this magnificent planet with so many wonderful people, animals, plants, and awesome beauty. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace.
Namaste, Fran. Wow, Sister Fran, Sister Fran. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So Sister Fran just gave us this really beautiful kind of recipe for how do we live peace in the now, in the here, in the practical realm, in apparent reality. How do we do that? She's given us this, and I know that this tickled every single one of our tribe members watching. I know that our family that's watching, our Darshan family, are all so thrilled with your comments. And at the end, when all the clergy have finished putting their beautiful spiritual 2 cents in, that between Rev Mary and I will kind of tag team and read some of the comments that are being said here. You know, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It's said 3 times, and this comes from the, it comes in a lot of, we see it in a lot of the Upanishads, but it specifically the peace chants of the Upanishads. So Shanti, Shanti, Shanti 3 times. Well, Sister Fran has already given us a great, great, great explanation of the one type in the present moment, in the practical realm. But there's two other shantis. There's two other pieces of this, no pun intended, pieces of this. The moment that hasn't arrived yet, the moment that hasn't come yet, and that moment that hasn't come yet is the place, it's the future place. You know, the peace could be seen almost as like past, present, future, if you will. It could be, you know, mind, body, spirit, those three shantis. But the way I like to think of it is it's placing shanti, placing peace on that place of the unknown where all the fear resides. And this is the place where, you know, we remember that we say Om first. So we say Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om has to come first. And the reason that Om has to come first is because it's God. So we place God first. And when we place God first, source, divine, the divine, when we do that and we make a conscious effort to give God first place in our lives, then we place God before the unknown. We place God before the moment that hasn't happened yet. And I don't know about you, but like everything with COVID, with the brutality that we're seeing, with wars, with poverty, with all of the stuff that Sister Fran has kind of told us ways in which we can promote peace, with all of these things that are going on in the world, it makes you nervous. It gets you anxious. You know, it really gets you worried, and you worry about what's to come. Oh no, I don't even want to know. Don't tell me. You know, like somebody said to me, did you see what happened, you know, in Atlanta? And I hadn't at that moment, you know, but it makes me worry about the future. Now, I'm in my human condition. I'm in this human jacket, so I can't help it. I can't help it, but I can help it when I remember to put Om first. Om before Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So the future, I don't know what the future holds. And sometimes it's a place of fear in me. But when I remember to put God first, ahead of all of the rest of it, then I know that Shanti is shining on my future. In Islam, we say salam. Salam. Assalamu alaikum. May peace be to you. Shining my peace to you. So we say salam on, please, salam on the future. We say shalom in Judaism. In the Jewish tradition, we say shalom. And of course, we know peace in our English. We know peace in the Christian tradition. So the word peace permeates all these different religions. And certainly shining peace on the future is so critical and crucial, especially during our uncertainty now. Now meaning our world today. So placing peace and placing God first place allows for peace to shine into the future. And then the third piece, the third Shanti, is within. Within. I haven't always had that Shanti within. There's been many times in my life where there's been darkness. And actually, prior to 2007, for a real chunk of time there, after 9/11, after 2001, leading all the way up to 2007, there was no Shanti within for me. And then God, in God's grace and mercy, you know, brought me into recovery. And it was there that I was given that inner peace. I was given that inner Shanti. You know, I was always someone who was very, very close to God my whole life. So I always had a contact with a higher power, with a God of my understanding. I always had a contact with that God. But sometimes it was unconscious. And I think that now it's conscious. I think that now I have a conscious contact with the God of my understanding, who has given me a life beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm happy, joyous, and free today, even though sometimes outcomes are disappointing, like today with the rain, you know, like with the possible rain, we had, you know, we didn't know, we didn't want anybody to get wet, and we didn't want to get wet, and our equipment doesn't, we don't, you know, all of this we struggle with. But if I could remember to place Om before Shanti, 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 if I can remember to place God first before all things, then I can just kind of surrender and just lay back. And there's nothing like that peace, the peace from God that passes all understanding. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.